And now, Jackson, Mississippi has reported finding lead in its drinking water as well. I wonder if there's more to come. Joining us now, leading spine surgeon and author, Dr. Dave Campbell. Dr. Campbell has established the online health newsletter Thrive.
What's it mean, man? What does lead in Jackson, Mississippi mean? And I remember getting public service announcements like in the 60s saying don't let your kids eat lead. I can't believe we're talking about this 50 years later. Dr. Dave, what are the long-term impacts? Who's most at risk?
Well, by far, young kids, babies that aren't even born yet, because it targets the neurological system. And the changes that Dr. Zeke was talking about last forever to a certain extent. Behavioral problems, learning problems, cognitive problems, all of that stuff leads into adult life.
So this is a case actually where a failure to invest in infrastructure actually is going to cause us long-term health risks.
This was actually a little different. Flint is much bigger than the canary in the coal mine. It was many, many times worse than Jackson, Mississippi. They were investing in some new infrastructure when this happened in Flint. They were trying to save some money, and it backfired because they didn't account for the chemical reactions that were occurring when they switched from Lake Huron water to the Flint River. In Jackson, the maximal lead dose was about 150 parts per billion. In Flint, it was 13,000 at its single peak. It's a tremendous difference. And so the exposure of over 8,000 kids in Flint is what we are all watching and waiting and worrying about. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it once you're exposed. The treatments and the drugs don't work well to reverse the effect.
Now, hey, let's talk about the debate last night. Healthcare again gets into it. Donald Trump keeps talking about the ability to negotiate across state lines with other insurance companies. Doesn't it seem insane that you've got, like, again, in some states, one insurance company dominating a market to the tune of 80%, when you have all of these other options? Again, it's not market driven, so they've got everybody by the throat.
No, it is a problem, and it's also a problem that with the new health care laws, it is those insurance companies that set the copay and the deductible. So this year, 2016, in practice, I can tell you the deductible that kicked in January has stopped thousands and hundreds of thousands of people from actually having access to the plan they have because they can't afford that. Even though the bronze plan is fairly inexpensive, you can't pay the copay or the deductible.
So you can't get in there. You have access, universal access to health care, you just can't afford it.
No, you cannot afford step one, which is paying your deductible.
Really quickly, give me a report card on the Affordable Care Act, all in, where we are now versus before it came, scale of 1 to 10.
So Dave, you practice every day on the front lines and have been well before and after. What do you rate the
I'd give it about
care?
a 3 because of the fact that you cannot access that 17 million people cannot access health care often because they're already fairly poor.
Oh boy,
We were not better in January of 2016 in our hospital and surgery center where it was a void in January. Schedules were blocked. My GI fellows and colleagues told me yesterday, January was a void. It was because of the copays and the deductible.
So the deductible, we've got to fix the deductible.
Yes.
We
all agree on that.
Very good. All right. Dr.
Dave
Zeke,
Campbell,
Dr. Dave, thank you
Emmanuel.
guys. We love having you.
Thank you. More Morning Joe in just a moment.
So you're right, it's 7.